with your host, Lexington Steele, and co-host, Andre Lavelle, and Johnny Depp on LA Talk Radio. Let's get it in.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed the ManCave live show on latalkradio.com. It is, without question, a nice, sunny Southern California evening in the end of the month of July. I'm sitting next to my man. To my left is Andre Lavelle at PCW Fit. What up?
That's happening, Big Lex.
Chill. John E. Depp on the microphone.
What's happening, man?
At the real John E. Depp.
Yes, sir. Get it right.
Peoples. Johnny appears courtesy of...
You know what it's about, people.
Formula R3.
Rise, rock, and restore.
In the morning.
She's going to love you, man.
Dre knows for a fact.
Yeah, how about that?
There it is. Actually, I didn't even mean for that to be... I just thought about that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
sir.
man.
I support Johnny.
No
doubt.
Thanks
You know
for
what
the
I'm
support, brother.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
all
appreciate
natural.
it. No doubt. And it is.
Yeah.
It's all natural to support, and it's all natural.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That's what's up. Well, look, people, I mean, I know that it's, it's one thing to appear to be beating a dead horse with a stick or whatever the adage is, but we do have a few things that we will talk about tonight that seem reminiscent of last week.
Yeah,
and the week before that.
It's ongoing, man. It's to the point that you got to wonder what's really going on.
So I ain't miss a beat because I wasn't here last week. So, pardon me for not showing up.
This is the current events.
Folks getting killed, folks getting shot.
Same old song?
Same old song.
Wow.
Same skin color.
Wow.
Now, the thing is, with this latest situation in Cincinnati, and we can go right into it, people, and feel free to participate at 818-570-5085. Once again, 818-570-5085 for the ManCave.
Yes, sir.
Andre begs the question. What has happened in Cincinnati? Is this another incident of an zealous officer of the law, or at least officer of the law of University of Cincinnati? He wasn't a Cincinnati city cop or sheriff. Or is this a case of a black on white crime, or white on white officer on black crime, which seems to be a pervasive summer motif experienced in Americana?
You know what pissed me off? I've been in a debate with a lot of people on Facebook over the killing of the lion. And
Cecil.
Cecil got killed, man.
Cecil the lion.
But people around the world are so angry about Cecil getting killed. Yet if I say, Black Lives Matter, they're quick. All lives matter. It's like, okay. Where is the concern for the people of color being slaughtered
you know what?
unjustly?
And all I can say and all I can do is add this. Actions speak louder than words. And I say that to say this. That shows you how they feel. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, because when I heard about Cecil the lion, I'm like, okay, what's the big deal? But supposedly he was supposed to be the lion. He was the last one of the lions or something like that.
No, he's nowhere near.
He was a protected lion.
He was a protected lion.
Yeah.
That's what it was. He was protected, and he was like, yeah. So
I can understand the anger. There's no need for big game hunting, really, and to kill a lion. That goes back to the mentality of the individual who shot the lion. That same mentality is in the police officers shooting us.
Okay, now I'm to play devil's advocate, gentlemen. In regards to the lion thing, and I understand that there is certainly no comparison, illustration, or no. But in regards to the lion circumstance, let's bear in mind one thing: in a protective environment for animals in these the numbers that
reserve
in these reserves, if you will, heading towards near extinction. At a certain point, the numbers exponentiate. And you do have a number that is above the best number in terms of male to female to youth lion, if you will. Once that number exceeds what is optimal for the species in that natural habitat, just on the terms of a geographical limitation, there is a need to take away alphas from that particular animal to balance things out. Whereas if you're the top of the food chain like a lion is, if you are a lion in a lion pack, you are the alpha. So there's no one that's predatory upon you. So you proliferate and pontificate. And at that point, the numbers exponentiate. Now, I'm not Reverend Jesse Jackson. I'm just simply saying that one can argue that based on a numerical level, they had to take some of the alpha lions out in order to balance numbers. Now that's just fact, people.
That fact and that logic, who dictates what the number is? No one asked the lions. So that's because man has encroached on their habitat.
Right. But the habitat, but their habitat given to them, right?
Okay.
Has a balance because the lions are not the only animals on that reserve.
Okay, and white folks aren't the only people on this land.
Well, see,
are we not being exterminated?
And to rebut your
prisons?
Right. There you go. Yeah, I can step on that too. I'm gonna step into it. But to rebut what you were saying, like, see, that's what man messes up because he always wants to intervene with nature.
Control.
Nature knows how to get rid of things on its own.
It'll take
care of itself. Like the earth, like people are like, oh my God, we're destroying the earth. No, we are destroying ourselves. Because once we leave, the earth will still be here doing what it's doing. You know, like you don't need to go into the ocean and do things because the ocean naturally filtrates itself.
Right.
It's a natural process.
If you are in
man does not need to help nature in
right,
that
but
regard.
if man offers the parameters which this reserve is based upon, there is a numeric balance that is optimal that is determined by the animal people there.
Yeah, but my thing is like, why are you capturing them anyway? For your enjoyment to put them on display?
In this case, I don't think it was. I think it was the reserve is for the preservation of a species.
Okay,
so to that end,
I get that.
there is a necessary balance because bearing in mind, in the elimination of one lion per se, you are preserving not only the hierarchy within the pride, if you will, of lions, but you're also maintaining the balance because there are prey to these alpha predators. So if you have an overabundance of alpha predator, you're going to see an exceeding amount and deterioration of prey, so throwing off balance as many as 2 or 3 species in a habitat.
With that thought process, not valuing the life of that animal, we at one point were considered on the level of animals.
You know what? I will draw no correlation in that regard, Andre.
Well, you're 3/5 of man, according to the Constitution. I just wanted to. I didn't say it, but
if you I'm talking from a historical standpoint, which is fact.
You're a beast.
We were hunted. Our life was not respected.
Captured.
Gentlemen, how do we get... I was just explaining the science behind.
I understand the science.
The fact that line was offered up. And by the way,
that lion was not offered up. That man, that was an illegal hunt. They lured him off of the reserve.
Okay. And those not for nothing, but the 2 Zimbabweans were released from prison today. Were released from jail today. The guide and the hunter, both of them were released.
No, the hunter wasn't in prison. He's in the United States.
No.
He's a dentist.
There was a real hunter and a guide. He was just the guy that paid to be brought in.
Okay.
So I'm saying the hunter and the guide were arrested as well. They're released today.
Okay. No, but I understand what you're saying. But on this note, it was just for game, and he according to him, he said he didn't know the lion was of that much value.
Big ass collar. He didn't know.
And like you said, he did it for game, and but you got a lot of the animal activists that are up in arms.
Well, we
and
saw
that's
something
the point
like
I was making.
Yeah, and that's the point.
It's like the Michael Vick dog situation. Like, oh, he killed those dogs, and this man lost his career almost. He went to jail for
and he wasn't even
dogs.
there. He wasn't even.
But you can kill a young kid, and you get a pension and
in terms of the relative value of life for the African American in America, as compared to the value of life of an animal that has no protections against mankind, it's tough for me to draw any type of that illustration does nothing more than say that people care about animals. Now, in our situation, I can't draw that comparison. What I will compare, though, is this to the Cincinnati cop situation, and is that what we were getting at?
Sure.
Ultimately.
Yeah, we stepped into Cecil, but we
Right.
started off with the.
Yeah,
Oh,
any
yeah.
of them. Any of Sandra,
But-
any of
Okay.
them.
But
It's
look,
all
the
same.
district attorney even said, he was like, yo, that's the most asinine act
Yeah.
I've ever seen. He said that guy should have never been. Is he a police officer or is he
He
an
is
officer?
a police officer with University of
Is-
Cincinnati Police Force.
but so he's not a city cop.
He's not a city cop.
So this guy is. So he's a campus cop.
Basically, cops
Right.
are pulling people over for
Wow.
BS
That makes it-
reasons
that makes it more
and executing
interesting.
them.
Well, but gentlemen, now can we agree that he had? I can look for the facts, but has he passed? I believe he has passed police academy, and I do believe that the University of Cincinnati cops are cops. Their jurisdiction might just be campus and
Okay,
you know,
now
relative
because
around
reason why I'm
campus.
asking because you've attended college,
Right.
you have your campus police, and then you have your city cops.
Right.
So my question is, was this guy a campus police?
Well, the
Or
campus
was
police.
or was he a city cop? Because if he's a campus police, his jurisdiction is just the campus. Am I
Right,
correct?
right, and areas surrounding. It's more. It's most like it's like if you have an airport cop who's all he's still a cop.
He's still a
just his
cop, but he
jurisdiction
can't go
is at
outside
the
his
airport.
jurisdiction.
Well, this guy, I guess now, as I understand it, the where it happened was very close geographically to the university, if not
Was it? So it
relatively-
wasn't on campus. It was
ma-
off campus.
Maybe not literally on campus, perhaps relatively close.
Okay. So my question is that still his jurisdiction? I'm just
Good
trying
question.
to just.
Regardless, what
Regardless,
did he,
what-
did
yeah,
he, I watched
what he
the
did.
video. What did he pull? He pulled him over. He's asking him, does he have? He didn't have a front plate.
That's
Right.
what. Yeah, he didn't have a front
Okay.
plate. Right.
So,
right.
And as far as I know, I mean, okay, how do you go from? Do you have a front plate to shooting him in his
Right.
head?
Yeah, yeah. See, and the one they always tell you to use when in doubt, always use I fear for my life, and that's what he put. That's what he was saying. But due to the body cam, it showed differently.
Exactly.
He said that it showed the body cam said he was in no sense of danger. He just pulled out on him and just like wow, just like let off on him and boom, that was it.
So since we have the body cams and cell phone videos and so forth, are we seeing something new, or are they just exposing what's been going on all this time?
No, ain't
Because-
nothing new under the sun.
So, how many lives have been taken that we don't even know about?
Plenty.
Right.
That's
dog.
what I find
Plenty.
frightening.
Plenty of lives that we and the thing is and what it was is always like your word against mine and whose word is going to win. The cop, for the most part,
Especially because the victim is dead.
dead men don't speak.
Dead men don't, right? I mean,
That you so
now, will the other corroborating officers? I believe there were two more. Will both of them, be indicted as well for participating in?
you know
in the
what?
cover-up?
If they part of it, they should be indicted because they're part of it. It's
Now,
just
not
like
for
the-
murder.
Not for murder, but
so to
you're
speak,
but you're accessory to it. You know, just like the guys in the Baltimore thing when they locked the guy in the paddy wagon, and they just throw him around in the paddy wagon, and they made a stop at some store or whatever they do, so they're held accountable for that because that prisoner is on their watch, and he got injured under their watch. So I think it's the same thing. If they had something to do with it, they should get indicted too. Maybe you don't have to pull the trigger to be guilty, but you can be there because they do it to us all the time. Yo, what'd you do? Nothing. You was an accessory of the crime. You was there. I drove the car, but you're still part of the crime. The same thing.
Now, so we can agree then, as the facts have illustrated and portended, not pretended, but portended. What we've seen is a guy being pulled over. There's words between him and the cop. The cop says, "Get out of the car, take your seatbelt off." He tries to close the door, and when he tried to close the door, the cop unloaded. And I guess, as I understand it, right, that was when the cop shot him, and then he fell forward because I guess they said he was trying to put the key in there or something, or change I don't know, but he hit the body went down. And the car rolled away, and the cop saying he was dragged, right? So there's a contention.
Listen, that's what the cop said.
That's what the cop
the
said.
video says something else.
The video says that he shot him, and then
But it
he
doesn't-
fell forward, the car going into gear and going forward, right?
From what I understand, from what the cop said and what the video showed, two different incidents. The stuff that the cop said never happened in the video. It's two different stories, and the camera don't lie.
Well, there was audio that went along with it, and in that audio,
The cop
sound
said
like
he was
the-
drugged. Like the cop said that he hit him and he
there was
drugged him. Or something,
what I
but
saw
that didn't
from
happen.
my interpretation of what I saw from the video was that when he told him to get out of the car, there was words like I'm not basically saying I'm not going to get out or what have you. He holds the door to close it shut again,
And the cop
then the cop
pulled his gun out.
the guy pulled his gun out
Yeah.
And that's not against the law.
to not want to get out.
Not to get out the car.
If you're given a lawful order by a cop,
Because I was watching MSNBC and he was talking to a cop as far as the training. He said he said something about there's certain things that a cop will ask you to do, and some things you don't have to do. Like for instance, if he says, "Yo, look, I need you to get out of the car to search your car," you have the right to say no,
No, I don't want you to search my unless they have probable cause.
unless you have probable cause.
And even then, they have to if it's they have to get the dogs to sniff and all that stuff.
and then
Yeah,
don't have
so-
to get a warrant or something
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well, right?
yeah.
Unless you say they
There
can't
you
just
go.
go through
So
your stuff.
you have rights too, but a
Right.
lot of people don't know about that because I'm gonna tell you because most people think if they fight the cops back, it's kind of like being if you answer that, it's being disrespectful. But no, that's your right.
Yeah.
Now there's a way to say things, and you can step out the car. I need to search your car. No, I don't. No, you can't. You can't search my car. And that's not against the law.
Right.
And
know?
why should we have to kowtow and smile and be thankful?
Yeah, because most people are like, yo,
if the cops pull you over, it's
she
an
didn't comply.
inconvenience. So yeah, I got a little attitude. Why do I have to? Yes, officer. No, I didn't do anything wrong. If I feel within my rights that I did nothing wrong,
Right.
give me the ticket and let me go on my way.
Right.
I don't have to smile and be happy to take your ticket.
But
Fuck outta
you know
here.
what? I think a lot of these cops are on edge, and they're just looking for a reason. Because I think, and I don't speak for all cops, but I speak for, from what I'm seeing, is that a lot of this is something deeply seated in their psyche about black men.
Now, let me ask you: is that what you speak of? Is that pervasive with the police force as a culture?
I think so.
Whereas,
I
then
think so.
are you also including African American officers in poisoned with that same that evil energy?
They're all under the flag because it's the blue it's the code of the blue. The blue
the
code,
culture
yeah, that's the
of
culture.
police.
But mainly like cops fear us, dog.
Look,
That's
it's
just
been
the bottom
not
line.
for nothing, but
Yeah.
it has been argued that in the police academies they're being trained as a almost a military in a military type training method, and maybe that is the sowing of the
Well,
ingredients for these
and
type of
ultimate power
And not for
explosions.
eventually
nothing,
corrupts.
a lot of cops are ex-military.
True
believe it or
enough,
not.
right?
But
So
if you think about
paramilitary
it,
training
okay,
in a police academy, is that right or wrong? I don't know. I'm not a cop.
I don't know.
But
to become
on
a
it,
police officer, because I applied for LA County
Okay.
and the sheriff's department
Speak on
at
it
one
then.
particular time. They do such a thorough background check that the cats who make it, my assumption from what the people that I met during that process, a lot of them were nerds and geeks in school.
That's what I was about to go
Because to be that squeaky clean, you ain't getting in no trouble. Okay, so a lot of them dudes were probably punks in school, and now they got a badge, and they got a little power. And when you were bullied, now you can be the bullier. You know what I'm saying?
You know-
So you become that ego. Do as I say. I got the badge. I'm the man now.
And you know what? And I'm gonna add
and
on.
as soon as you buck up to them, they got to prove themselves.
I'm gonna add on. That's why I say it's something in their psyche that's rooted. Because like my people are from the South. My father from North Carolina, rest his soul. But my people are from the South, and my uncle knew a guy that applied for the police academy. And in the South, North Carolina, man, they asked you straight up, like, why you want to be a cop? And some of the answers that were given, and I dare to say it, but I can say it because this is barbershop talk, right? We can say what we. They was like, I'm on the force because I want to kill a black dude. I can't stand them because maybe they had maybe they had bad history or bad blood. Like maybe the dude like had an affair with his girl, or it's all kind of stuff. Or maybe they were bullied or pushed around, and that's what the dude said. They said a lot of the dudes they were picked on. So
Okay, so
that's just an assumption. But
all right, but based on that premise, then the
misusing your power.
The abuse of power is not necessarily then a race on race specific
I
phenomenon.
never said it was a race specific thing.
But is it just a case of, like the word I used before? Is it an overzealousness, if you will, that brings about these actions by cops who are trained paramilitary style?
Well, you know what? We say it's not about race, but from what we see, who do we see? Who do we see getting their head beat in? Did you see the incident in Target in Brooklyn? With 16 cops was on one kid, was beating him down. And the dude was handcuffed. So, I mean, let your eyes be the judge.
Right. And
is it racist? What are we seeing?
Now, I'm going to say something here that does, of course, serve to bolster what you are saying, Johnny Depp. White woman not killed. 2 high-speed chases, headbutts cop, steals police car, and grabs police rifle. Once again, in Arkansas.
Talk about it.
There was a woman who led cops on 2 high-speed chase from one car to another. They handcuff her, then they hog tie her. They put her in the car. She gets loose in the car, with the handcuffs on, climbs through the window of the cop car, gets in the driver's seat, steals the cop car. Okay? They pull her out of the cop car. When she crashes that one, she headbutts a cop. Then she tries to grab the police officer's rifle.
How about that?
They took her into custody after having stun gunned her a few times ultimately. So what I'm saying is this. That is drastically ironic. I beg the question as to whether anyone can refute that there is a disparity in the issuance of violent policing when it comes to Black Americans versus white Americans. These are facts.
Doubt.
These have happened.
What about you? We saw the video where the guy was rushing the cop saying, "Shoot me!"
Yeah, exactly. Dude.
Now
the dude's like, "I don't want to shoot you.
Right.
I don't want to shoot you."
And
cool down, Bob.
The further evidence, and I don't know if people are as familiar with this as I became this afternoon, but as I understand, the head of police of the Chicago City Police Force, who was fired recently, says that he spoke internally against a statistical agenda of making sure that cops were not brought to justice for their, albeit murders, of citizens of Chicago. And of course, we do know that Chicago has a very, very high crime rate, and not all of that is black on black. Most, and evidently and numerically, there are police on black crime as well. And there is maybe an agenda based on somewhat of an internal conspiracy with which the head of Chicago police, who has been fired, speaks that something is awry.
Now, let me ask you this.
Certainly.
That's a good question, because we are. I'm sure there are black cops beating up black kids, but why is that not shown? Is that on purpose? Because every time you turn around, it's like, yo, another white cop beat up a black dude.
This didn't make news.
I'm just saying.
This made online news. This was not on any.
Not gonna make news.
We wouldn't see this on your major television channels.
Well, he who controls the media controls the mind. So I think there is an agenda to a certain extent. So.
So is that
coincidence
that we're not? Because I'm sure, like I said, black cops beat up on black teenagers or black men.
Because in some of these instances, we've seen black cops throwing blows as well, right along with. That's what I'm saying. One can argue. Right. One can definitely argue from a standpoint that these are not race specific situations. One can argue that
it's an illusion of inclusion. That's what it is.
Explain that.
It's a network. It's just like the military. You get these young kids out of school. Some of them might be antisocial, whatever.
So not to cut you off, Joe, but are you saying that is blue versus whomever?
Yeah, it's us against them, or them against us.
Okay,
yeah, that's
so them against us, them being the blue,
yeah,
and us being everyone else.
Yes.
Okay.
And us being blacks in particular are born suspects.
Okay. And the only reason why I made that statement, because I only go off of what I see. Now, like I said, I'm sure there's been incidents where I said, black cops beating up, but it seems to me it's always shown like white cops beating up black men, beating up black women. You saw that joint in L.A. we had on the side of the highway, was giving it to her, on top of her, like a man is wailing on her.
And
I mean,
what do you think of this?
What do you think?
Just like it's been exposed in the military, because you have to be physically conditioned, a certain way, is a lot of steroid use. It's been shown. Cops as well. They work out. They feel those cats who are in that mindset, I got to be ready for anything. They might be jacked. And everybody knows you take roids or those drugs, man, you on edge. You got a bad attitude. You liable to snap.
Yeah, a lot of those cops, man, because you don't know. And not only that, you don't know how they feel. Because, okay, let's take, for instance, Ferguson. What did the cops say about Michael Brown? Oh, I was shooting him and he kept coming like a big. He's like he was enraged. He's like a monster. Like I was in fear of my life. He said, I was just like, wow. So you in fear of your life, but you got to empty the clip on him. Well, you see what I'm saying? Like, are you that? I mean, you could have shot him in the kneecap.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? But that was his
center
state.
mass. Right. But the thing is, they view us. Like I said, once again, we are animals. He was like a big beast.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't see
that's what I'm saying.
Human.
They're afraid. They're afraid of us as well as we're afraid of them because
they're not afraid. That's what they use so they can get off. If I got a gun, ain't no reason I'm afraid.
You have no reason to be afraid. If anybody should be afraid, it should be us.
Exactly.
Because let me tell you something, brother. When a cop pull up behind me and I'm not doing anything, and he made us be pulling behind me, but I don't know, but I always get that itch in my stomach. Yeah. And I ain't doing nothing. I got my seatbelt on and everything, but it's always something in the pit of my stomach like, dude, why are you behind me?
And why should we feel like that?
Yeah, why are you running my... Exactly. Why am I on guard like that?
And that's what people don't realize.
Yeah.
Or they choose not to acknowledge that fact because there is a difference in this country as to how people are treated.
Yeah, because when I see a Michael Brown incident or anything like that, I'd be like, dude, that could be me. That could be me. And it's a scary feeling, dude.
And that's how we associate and relate to it. Whereas when they do a crime, they're disassociated from it. We saw the other day, 3 of the top news stories was crazy white dude shoots up whatever he shot up. Crazy white dude, sexual predator killing escorts. Crazy white dude did XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
All of them multi-murders,
Yeah, you know what?
But they don't associate it as we need to profile. White men are going crazy.
Right.
Don't look at me. Look straight at the camera and tell the audience.
I'm saying you remember the story?
Right. No, I know, Jake, but don't look at me.
Every race, every race does crime, but it's reported differently in the media. That's what it is. It's painted differently. Like that cat that shot up the place in Colorado,
church?
The white dude with the red
Colorado,
hair.
You have New Orleans.
Now, what's the difference?
Just the other day, right?
You had the New Orleans. There you
Where
go.
was that? That was in
New Orleans. No, it was in Louisiana.
Okay.
Shreveport, I think. But here's the difference. This guy goes in and he shoots up a movie theater of innocent people. He's labeled as, he has mental issues. Let's study him. Something's wrong.
Now, was that situation deemed domestic terrorism, much like the kid shooting up the church? Has he been ascribed that title, domestic terrorist?
I don't know if it was deemed that, but it could be terrorism, and I'll tell you why. Because the definition of terrorism is to terrorize. So you're terrorizing a public place. People in there watching a movie, for God's sake.
Right. It's almost akin to spewing fire in a movie theater.
There you go, and you're defenseless. You sitting there, you defenseless. You watching a movie, and this dude coming with red hair and a long coat and just pop off.
Right.
That's not terrorism. I'm sure that's some form of terrorism. But to finish my statement, you look at that. Look at the way he's painted, and then you take, let's say Trayvon Martin. I'm going back. He committed no crime, but they said
he's a thug.
He's
smoking
thug.
Weed. He's on a gang
right? It's just painted differently.
What I see really out of the Cincinnati cop thing, I see the same as the Zimmerman case.
I was about to say that.
Doesn't really seem it begs the question. Except this guy was an actual cop.
Okay.
While Zimmerman wasn't anything, but it seems like you have a guy. I mean, driving. Once again, a case of driving while black.
Sandra, what's her name? Sandra Bland.
Bland, yeah.
Oh,
right.
dude.
Even when you know your rights. Okay, so she was belligerent. It's her constant. She can express herself any way she wants to. You pull me over. You're not telling me what you're arresting me for. You pulling me out of my car.
Yes.
You telling me I can't.
Right.
Was
I
it
can't
four, I
smoke.
believe it was 14 times that she replied to the officer, "What are you? What
Yes.
am I
There
being?
you go. I know my rights. What are you pulling,
What are you pulling
me
me
over for?
Yeah.
14
And-
times.
And he never replied to her. He just kept saying, if you don't get out of the car, I'll drag you out of the car.
Yeah. And he,
that's
then
what
he literally said, I'll light you up.
Yeah, I'll light you up.
Yo, let me tell you something.
So even when we know our rights, it's not the same.
Right.
I've seen video after video where white folks get belligerent and curse the cop out. White folks walk down the street with rifles
No,
and turn away cops.
Okay,
It's my right to carry my gun.
Let me ask you this, Andrea, because you precisely identify, these people that you proclaim are all white, and this is a white versus black thing. What I want to ask of you is, if we were to speak to officers of the law who are men of color and women of color, what might their perspective be when their brethren are literally gunning down people with like skin colors as their own?
I don't know. I'm not a cop.
We need to get a cop in here.
We should get a cop in here.
We need a cop back.
Can we come to any sort of I don't know
any cops.
relative perspective? I mean, because I wonder. Now you said you were going to join the police system a number of years ago.
Yeah.
But before you go on, I will just let me say this: these guys, and I look, people. I'm not taking sides. Of course, I am on this side, but I'm not a cop. They got to come home too. They'll argue that they need to make it home to their family too. I'm just
right.
Exactly.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
I mean, they will argue that.
Now that is very true. But my thing is this: like, okay, I can see if you were really in fear of your life. Like, I don't have a weapon.
Right.
See, and that's the bottom line. Like, none of these black guys
were armed.
They were
None of them were armed. Trayvon Martin wasn't armed.
No. So what?
Not unarmed.
So the question.
You got a girl,
is,
woman that literally headbutts an officer,
Stole a rifle.
steals a police car, and then tries to grab the policeman's rifle.
Yeah.
Please.
Come on. So
man.
So again, like, it may not be race, but according to what's on the table.
But it's been going on since the beginning, since the first generation of slaves procreated. We've been getting the shit.
Yeah, but I don't know what the numbers are, and I wish I was privy to those numbers immediately. But what is the how does it break within the police community? I mean, what percentage are black guys? What percentage are white guys? What percentage are Latino?
I'm
what
not saying
are
all
Asian?
cops are bad, but if the good cops don't speak against the bad cops and the injustice and what's going on, they're a part of it. If somebody's
the
beating
black
their wife,
cops are just as incriminated as a white cop would be.
Yeah,
So
a cop is a
therefore-
cop. Is a cop.
Exactly. So let's say it's blue. It's not necessarily black or white. It's blue versus the community. Blue being the proverbial color
I'm saying
reference
that the
for
people-
cops. Blue versus the
The
community.
way the cops treat people is different. They treat white folks different. Than
and black cops are as guilty as their
Yeah.
compatriots.
if you don't speak up to stop
If you
it,
don't speak- right, okay.
it's the same thing. So
Yeah, and I've heard stories. Even the comedian Dave Chappelle, when he did that skit, he said he was in New York and he was riding with his friend, who's a white guy. The guy was one of the writers on his show, and he made a joke, but he was telling the actual story. He said he was driving, and he said the cop pulled him over, and I guess they was puffing whatever, and he was like, "Oh snap, go, you better put it out," and the dude was like, "Don't worry about it," and he said the cop pulled up, he rolled the window down, he's like. The white dude was like, "What you pull us over for?" Was just mouthing off at the cop, and Dave Chappelle's like, "Oh no, don't do it, Biff, don't do it, Biff, don't do it, don't." And the cop didn't say nothing. He was like, "Well, just get out of here and be careful." And I was just like, "Wow." And Dave Chappelle, then he alluded to, he's like, "Damn." At that moment, I sat there, I was like, "There's no way in the world I could have done that. There's no way on God's green earth."
Well,
I could have done
that happened
and-
recently again with Chris Rock and what's the other, the real funny guy that they? It's not funny to me, but
Right, but I
what's
know-
the dude's
Jerry
name?
Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld,
Yeah.
right? And evidently Chris Rock was legitimately worried, and Seinfeld was like same shit. Like,
So
don't worry
why?
about it.
So why is that? because they don't get treated the same. They know, like, oh, the white dude, I'm good.
But one can argue.
Get your badge number, pal. I'll have your job.
One can argue that even if it would Chris Rock, would he have felt equally frightened if it was a black cop that approached the car, or would Chappelle have been just as fearful had it been a black cop?
I think he, you know what? To me, Lex, and I'll just speak to me personally. White cop, black cop, Chinese cop. If he's a cop, I would look at him suspect, dude, because they're all in the same gang. And I don't mean that as a metaphor. I mean that seriously. I mean that figuratively. Like,
I think
they're all, and they're gonna protect their own for the most part. Now, I know they do dirt in the department, but for the most part, they're gonna protect their own.
Right.
But the only thing that I disagree with, as people, we should always be respectful of one another.
We should.
But because of their position, they should be more respectful toward the people that they are approaching, because they're the ones who can escalate the situation. If they come up to the car and they're a dick, they're going to get dickness back.
Right.
So, but we are expected to be, always
and you don't know how
on point.
And you don't know how these cops are trained, or you don't know what they're telling them in training, or you don't know what they're speaking among their peers, because they be like, because I'm going to tell you something, man. A lot of these cops, like you said, they scared already. They shell-shocked. They're in certain areas, like, oh, man,
I don't
they're
see them as being
life.
afraid. I see them as being
a lot of
bored. Most of them are bored, and they're looking for something to jump off. So especially the younger dudes.
That's what they're saying. But my
bored.
thing is like, yo, what do you have to be afraid of? But they know what. Well, you know how black people act. When you go to these projects, you got to watch your back, and all kind of stuff is just going through their head. And
but that's media propaganda.
Like you said, Lex, like, yo, they got a family to go home to. So they're not even thinking. They're just reacting.
People are susceptible to media propaganda.
Yeah.
And the media makes us out to be criminals. But if you look at cops, all the meth labs and who's the cats mostly running away and swinging back or shooting back? We ain't, because we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned to bow our heads and be subservient, whereas they don't feel. So, yeah, and 9 times out of 10, just like that chick, that privilege.
Listen.
She got loose. She went for the gun. Right. She headbutted. Yeah. What are you going to do to me?
Nothing. I could blow you away. I could blow you away because you threatened my life, because you pulled a gun on me. But you know what? I choose not to. So here again, which brings me to my point. Those cops didn't have to do what they did. There was a choice. Their choice was to kill a man. Simple as that, dude. Simple as that. It's a choice. And you made the choice to be like, yo, I don't care. I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to kill him. Because at that time, when that lady had the chance to pull a rifle, he had every right to shoot her.
We saw a video where a chick had a knife charging at the cops. And they tackled her down. They didn't shoot her.
They didn't shoot her.
They tackled her down. Yeah, she had a big butcher knife. Here you got people who have nothing, and they end up dead.
And you can't say it's a woman thing, because Sandra Bland didn't have a weapon. She had a cigarette. She's smoking a cigarette, and he was like, yo, put the cigarette out. And she's like, I don't have to put my cigarette out. It's not against the law. There you go. It's not against the law for you to smoke your cigarette.
And that goes back to the egomaniac.
Yeah, dude.
Do as I say, nigga.
He's like, yo, give me a reason. And she gave him a reason. And he went in on her.
And that's the mentality that
he
want us to have. Where are your papers?
Listen, here's my papers. You driving through them little small towns in Texas, dude? Shoot, dude, you better be careful. I would have been driving like Miss Daisy, kid, going through that joint. You know what I'm saying?
But with post-racial, why should you have to? See, that's the conditioning they want us to
that's
have,
it.
Man.
But look what's happening, dude. Look what's happening. Look what's happening. I mean, it's kind of like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't.
So what if I would have complied? I'm going to go out swinging.
Yeah. Again, a choice. Like, maybe if she would have complied, maybe things would have been different. Or maybe she would still comply. Maybe she still would have got her ass whooped. So what do you do?
Exactly. So
what do you do, people? Call in and tell us. What do you do? Please. I want to know.
Before we get out of here tonight, people, this has been a hell of a run, as we've seen over this summer, and it does seem that it's problematic, and we have, as we try and chisel our way to the bottom of it, you know what I'm saying, it just seems to be just the tip of the iceberg. as we make our way to and into this type of foul discourse that we see in the direction, notwithstanding. There's a lot of work to do. So to that end, I will recite rather quickly before we close ourselves out 9 things successful people do right before bed.
I want to know this.
And
I
I don't
saw
mean-
that on your thing.
I don't mean rub one out,
Stop it.
Dre.
Stop it. Stop that.
They read. They make a to-do list.
I do that.
Right. They spend time with family.
Okay.
They reflect on the day.
I do that.
They meditate.
Aha. Oh.
They plan out sleep. I don't know what that means, to plan out your sleep.
I guess you want to know how many
Structure your
hours.
time.
Yeah, structure as much. How much time are you going to delegate
Allow
to
yourself
sleep?
to- okay.
Yeah, 'cause that's
they,
very important.
they unplug and disconnect from work. They lie down on a positive note. Sometimes that's difficult if you're at odds with your partner. They picture tomorrow's success.
Wow.
Now, I don't know. I mean, these are hints and words to live by. I think that we can definitely apply these to each and all of our lives. I don't see anything amiss in that. Those 9
I do
suggestions.
some of that.
I do some of those things, but some things I could work on.
Yeah.
As we all could.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can work on.
It didn't include smoking a bowl. I
Hey,
would say,
man.
look, there needs to be 10
Listen,
things.
Put your mind at ease.
Right, there needs to be 10 things,
Yeah,
right?
especially after a hard day.
You
Well,
know.
I sit in a hot tub for about an hour and just,
Oh, that's
relax.
sexy.
Yeah.
I feel you on that. You know, a nice glass of red wine.
Decompress.
Maybe some
glass of red.
aromatherapy, put
Yeah.
some incense.
Yeah, I'm into
Jazz.
Right.
I'm into candles
Age.
and
Wow.
incense and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I'm into.
You
because-
didn't say rose petals, did
Stop
you?
No,
it.
no.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
was
you
about
on
to
some
say.
coming? You getting coming to America
No,
on?
I don't do
thought,
those.
yeah.
Wow.
All
I say
right.
I listen to some new age
Okay.
jazz or something,
Okay,
just
but
chill.
no, but
Yeah.
you gotta. Yeah.
I would say
bath
add
oils.
smoke a bowl if you do partake in the fine cannabis, right? And then another thing too, what you don't want to do is you don't want to take you don't want to take herbal supplements before you go to bed. In my opinion, when do people take Formula R3? When's the best
Well,
time?
Formula R3 can be taken on a daily, but you take it when you ready to get it on.
Yeah.
Busy.
Okay.
Get.
Because if I
get
take,
there.
because I don't want to stick. Sometimes herbal supplementation, your body, I'm staying up all night because your body is still working on the
Right,
the
but see,
supplement.
here's the difference, and I know we run out of time, but the difference between R3, which is plant based, as opposed to Viagra, which is a drug and a synthetic, is the formula R3 works in conjunction with your system because it's plant based. So your body will recognize it, and it'll get rid of it. The stuff that it doesn't need, it'll get rid of it. That's what your liver is for. I know I'm getting deep, but
no
but as
doubt.
far
Well, that's
as-
what it's about.
Yeah,
Formula R3 is
no
getting deep.
doubt. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Get down and dirty. But as with the Viagra, which is a synthetic, your liver won't be able to read it because it's foreign. You understand what I'm saying? So it may have problems like breaking it down or because it's synthetic. But it's all plant based. It's going to run its course. It stays with you for 72 hours, and a lot of it you may urinate out because it's working on helping you with your prostate too to keep that
Interesting.
going.
So check what's the .com.
FormulaR3.com. I'm telling you, people, get on it because you wanna be with your lady when you're 60 and 65. You still wanted to work at that age. You know what I'm saying? So you get guys, they burn out around 55. You know what I'm saying? And then they want to. Then that's when they jump into the synthetics and that. But it's all on how you eat, get the proper rest. Sleep is very, very important, and it's your diet, man. And of course, exercise.
Yes.
Yeah. And you don't have to exercise like hardcore, like people think you got to work out like Mr. Olympic. Nah, dude, a walk around the block will do wonders.
Keep the blood flowing.
Keep your
the
blood
muscles
flowing,
moving.
yeah. And stay. You gotta say, because the older we get, the more you want to stretch and stay limber. Because you get old and your muscles get rigid and they don't work the same. That's why I was really never heavy into weights, because I knew the repercussions when you got older. Because when you're younger, and nothing against cats that lift weights, a lot of it to me is cosmetic. But when you're doing yoga and the combat training and the stretching and all that, that's core. That's core strength, dude. And Can't beat that.
Yep.
Get off my soapbox, man.
It's
Throw
cool.
that in there.
I'm there with you, bro.
All right.
I lift heavy because I just want to look like I can knock
Well,
somebody
you
out.
see,
if I have to.
you look good, Dre. You
Fold
look
guy,
good.
I'm
You
hanging in there,
you
man,
got it
you know.
because you do the MMA and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so But I'm just saying, you see those guys that be walking
I'm
around.
not trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, they be walking around all swole up, and then you ask them like, "Yo, what do you do? Do you compete?" They're like, "Nah, I don't compete." I'm like, "Well, why are you so big?"
All right, so Dre, anything you gotta say before we get out of here?
Hey, PCW Fit got a lot of things in the mix. Back on stage, getting our funny on.
Uh-oh.
Yes, sir.
Get that. You gonna jab at my funny bone?
Back
I'm
at
gonna
the
check you
club,
out.
man.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, ManCave will return in the fall, so we're taking a couple weeks off. We'll be back live on the Wheels of Steel, as I like to
Like
say,
steel.
on the ManCave live show here on LATalkRadio.com, the video channel. So once again, first week of September, we'll be right back at you, and
Hot
we'll be bringing it
guests.
to you. Fastballs as always, right? Straight no chaser.
Straight no
Yes, sir.
chaser.
You heard it here.
That's right.
You may have heard it here first.
That's right.
For all the good people here on the Man Cave Live Show, thank you for joining us tonight. We respect you. We enjoy you company, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace.
And I mean that.
2 fingers.
Straight talk from our perspective. This is Man Cave Live with your host Lexington Steele and co-host Andre Lavelle and Johnny Depp on LA Talk Radio. Let's get it in.